guys. So my name is David.
My name is Ismail.
We're Tech News, and for today we have big news, big release news. Tell us.
Yeah.
Ismail.
All right. So as you guys might know or might not know,
You should know.
well, the new Apple event, we saw 3 new phones just as we thought from rumors and stuff like that. And we also have the specs, the phone, and there was an Apple Watch, which was Series 4. And right now we're gonna go more into depth about these phones.
For sure. So we have 3 phones: the iPhone XS, the iPhone XS Max, and then the iPhone XR. So we'll focus on the 2 main ones, which is the XS, which is the same size as the iPhone X,
Yep.
and then the iPhone XS Max, which is the largest iPhone ever created by Apple. So I guess, which one do you want to talk about?
Well, let's talk first about the iPhone XS since
Okay.
it's related mostly to the one from last year. So let's see the improvements that it has over the one from last year and what has changed from last year.
For sure. So it comes in 3 colors: silver, black, and gold. So that's different from the previous model.
Yeah, the difference is, if you don't know, is that they didn't have gold on the next year.
Yeah.
Last year they didn't have gold, so this year they have it.
Or silver, right? I
No,
think
they didn't have silver. I think
They only have
no,
one
they had
color.
silver.
Oh, they did have
I
for the
think they
iPhone
did.
10.
I think they did. I'm not sure.
I think here. Let's see. I don't think they did. Look.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah, they did have
They had
silver.
silver.
You're right. Yeah, they didn't have gold. My mistake, guys. But nonetheless, that was the biggest difference. They still have a dual 12 MP, I guess, camera system.
Yeah.
Wide angle, 7 MP true depth camera. So for people that maybe don't understand why this is important, or
Yeah.
how would you explain this to our audience?
Megapixels in a camera. Sometimes people think that just because they have the biggest, or the most megapixels in their cameras, that they have the best camera. But these cameras that come on the phones, they're based mostly on software too.
Software.
Because the new iPhones, they do the what's it called, the portrait mode, which uses software to edit the pictures to make them look nice. And then something that came to my attention from the iPhone XS is that it has a Super Retina display.
And so they're calling it an HD display, but it's an OLED display. Okay, so it's similar to the one that Samsung has.
Yeah.
In quality, it's not the LCD that you guys are used to whenever having an iPhone, so that's different. But nonetheless, there's also a new chip that they put in. It's called the A12 chip, but what it does is it just makes your apps run faster. It makes your photo editing, not editing exactly, but just photo taking faster.
Yeah.
It just makes everything faster, and you can do a lot of AR gaming.
Yeah, and with this processor, what they were able to do, they were able to make it smaller and more efficient. And then by making the processor smaller, they can add more space for new stuff, like a bigger battery, for example.
Which we'll be getting to in a minute. Also, they improved the water resistance, which is important especially if people drop their phones in a pool or stuff like that. So now it's 2 meters up to 30 minutes of, I guess, water resistance. And they have wireless charging, as the previous model had too. So that's a breakdown of the iPhone XS. But now let's go to the Max. What was the biggest takeaway from that one?
XS Max. Well, since Apple said it's their biggest one they've ever made, it looks pretty nice. It looks nice. And then there's people that might have not liked the iPhone 10 because of the regular size, or it only came in one size basically.
Pretty much.
But now you have 2 options, and the difference is not too much. And compared to other years where the iPhone 7 and then 7 Plus, the 7 Plus usually was a little bit more better in some aspects, but with this one it's similar, really similar.
Only big difference is the battery life, which does have, I think they said, an hour and a half more than the iPhone 10, so that's a big improvement. And also the screen. It's a 6.5-inch screen, which is really big. It's actually bigger than the Samsung. I think it's the Note.
The Note.
Yeah, it's bigger. I actually thought that was a pretty big phone. So that's one of the things. But now moving on to the iPhone XR, not a lot of people might want to have that phone. But personally, I think for value, I think you get a lot of value from the iPhone XR, and I would probably go with that one out of the three.
Yeah, that's a good phone because as we've seen, Apple has come up with these low budget phones, which is like the iPhone 5C, the iPhone SE, but they didn't really have like the latest technology when it came out from that year. And what was interesting is that the iPhone XR actually comes with the newest processor that they made.
So check this. It has 6.1. It's an LCD. They're calling it Liquid Retina HD display, but it is better than most LCDs. They work better with the pixels, so and it's actually bigger than a bigger screen than the XS. So that's pretty surprising. Same quality for camera, I guess. They don't have the wide angle, but they do have 12 megapixels. Same depth camera, and a little bit less water resistance with a millimeter. Actually, 1 meter. I don't know what's happening with me today, guys. Yeah. But the thing is, it comes in a lot of colors. It's very colorful. What color would you go with?
So, I think I like the coral.
You like the coral?
Yeah.
Really? I like the red. I would go with the red.
Yeah.
But I mean, you already have red.
So. I have red. Yeah.
So you're like tired
either coral or like blue.
Blue. I mean, the black one looks nice too.
Yeah.
The white one. So it's also a glass back, so you guys can do wireless charging. So like we stated before, many of the iPhones that have been cheap, I had the iPhone C, the 5C, and it was, I got it stolen 2 months after I bought it. Best thing that could have happened to me, except for not having a phone. The plastic, it just seemed cheap, and like it would scratch, and I don't know, it just felt cheap. And then the back of it popped off. Like I think I dropped it, and like it popped off, one corner popped off.
Oh no.
And I had to pop it back in. So like iPhones don't really have a good rap, especially the cheaper models.
Yeah.
But for this price,
it's not bad, but it's not like the best, I guess. I mean, it's good technology, but if you're paying like $749, which was the starting price for an iPhone 7, back at the time, so I mean, you get better technology now. And the thing with this phone is that I want to point out that if you like taking pictures, because there was people that were getting the iPhone 7 for portrait mode and stuff like that.
For sure.
Just because the 2 lenses and stuff like that. But this iPhone XR, it actually does portrait mode, even though it doesn't have a second lens. It still uses software. They generated this software that makes a portrait picture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even the aperture is very similar to the, when it comes to like the wide angle. So it's similar in the sense of the 1.8 aperture. So you still get that with the phone. Overall, I think it's a good phone. It's still expensive though, coming at around $749. So it's still expensive. But I mean, for what you're paying for, I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, if you're trying to get into the iPhone or like Apple, and if you have the money, you should go with the XR to experience more stuff. And even though it's not like people are gonna be like, oh, you should have gotten like the 10s Max, something like that.
And if you're, most people, don't get me wrong, when they get an iPhone, they get it not really, I mean, they get it for themselves, I guess.
Yeah.
But it's also a good thing to like, I guess, show off to people. Or I've noticed, when they have the new phone, like, oh, I have the new iPhone. So it's probably not one of the phones that you want to show people, I guess, like brag about, because then someone's gonna pull out their iPhone XS Max and be like, "What's up, dog?" Like. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to add?
Let's go to battery life to see.
Alrighty. I want to make sure we get these things right.
Size, weight, display. Oh, something that came to my mind from the display is that it has HDR, which makes colors more vibrant or like better.
Go for it.
Yeah, so what we've seen from like TVs is like 4K HDR, which is this new technology where companies are trying to make the color spectrum on TVs better, make them more bright, and I think that's gonna help with people that are into like, I guess, shows or like games, I guess. it's gonna look better.
Another thing, guys, is when it comes to the besides the battery, which he wanted to go into, the HDR settings for the photos, what it does is it just takes a lot of pictures in HDR and it just picks the best features of each one in order to give you a really nice picture. So that's one of the features that improved in this one, because you do have HDR on an iPhone 7, but not to that capability that the new one does.
Yeah. Alright, so I think you passed it.
There we go.
Alright, so Barry, we have talk time. On the iPhone XS, we have the up to 20 hours. On the XS Max, we have 25 hours. And interesting, the iPhone XR also does 25 hours. So you might be getting the same battery life on the iPhone XR as the iPhone XS Max, which is not a bad deal.
Yeah, and something that I'd like to also point out is in regards to like the sensors, Face ID is available on all of these devices, so you can unlock it with your face. But also the SIM card. So for people that travel a lot and they need another SIM card or another, I guess, plan to use their phones, there will be dual SIM card. And I was telling Ismail, the China one will have where you can pop 2 SIMs into the phone.
Yeah.
And the one that's sold everywhere else, I believe, is going to use eSIM technology. So you won't need to pop it into your phone. It will all be through,
Yeah, it's the same technology, because right now
through their system, pretty much.
Yeah, because right now I've seen like companies that are coming out with dual SIM, and then Apple's coming out with this electronic SIM card, which you don't have to actually put the SIM card in. You could put one in and then have another one electronically, and you don't have to have double.
Yeah.
On your phone.
So we still have to test that out. That's a new, I guess, idea of what they're coming up with. So that's still going to be tested. But nonetheless, I would want to try out the iPhone for China. I just think it'd be cool to see if you could use it here. Pop in 2 SIMs and there you go. You're off to the races. So I think that's about it, guys. Ismail, which one are you going for if you had all the money in the world?
I would go for the XS Max.
Okay. Why?
Well, I feel like it's similar to the iPhone 7S Plus. 7 Plus, which is the one I'm used to.
Okay.
And I feel like, it's gonna be good to watch movies in.
Okay, gotcha.
Bigger display,
better speakers. Okay. For me, I think I would have to go with the iPhone XS. It kills me that it doesn't have as much battery as the Max, but I just like the. It's just the right size for me. I don't know if I can do like the big phone, just because I have a small hand, my fingers, But nonetheless, I think that's the one I would go with. But it's up to you guys, what you want to go with. It's a lot of things to take into consideration. Your budget, a lot of other things. So make sure to think about that before purchasing a phone. Anything else, Mike?
Nope, that's it.
All right, so this is like the latest news for the new iPhones. Make sure to pick up your iPhones or at least try them out before you buy them. And also wait for the holidays.
Yep, so I think we're going to upload a video after this one, which is going to be what deals should get on your phone or where to get them, stuff like that.
Yeah, for sure, because most of the iPhone models previous to the ones that released yesterday will definitely be much lower. So if you're in the market for a lower, there's nothing wrong with that either. So that's tech news, and we're out.